war is launched.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of AF24NEWS Talks. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Olarinka Oyebile, the editor here at AF24NEWS, seated on my right. And on my left, I have Dr. Olabisi Deji-Folutile, a director here at AF24NEWS. Today, we want to discuss the explosion that rocked Ibadan on last week, Tuesday. That was January the 16th. Around 7:30 p.m., there were reports of a loud explosion. Since then, investigations have been ongoing to really determine the actual cause of the explosion itself. But today, I just want to discuss with my panelists what we understand so far from what is going on. I want to start with Dr. Deji-Folutile. First of all, what did you think about the government's response to the explosion that happened?
Well, I think the government responded, can I say swiftly? It wasn't as swift as people envisaged, but at the same time, the government was also proactive. I won't say it might not be as swift as one would have expected, but also it wasn't too slow. Let me just put it that way. And we also need to look at it from the perspective that it was an unfortunate incident that was not expected at all, and an incident that its kind had never happened before. So you can expectedly that shock, the initial shock on the part of everyone and all of that. But I think also the government mobilized emergency operations, and people were rescued and all of that. And I think that night also the governor of the state visited the scene, the deputy governor. I think I saw the video of the governor also at the scene of the incident that night. So but that being said, is it something that should be? No. Should such a thing happen in a residential area? No. And the victims, different kinds of stories about victims. As a matter of fact, a UK returnee was said to be among the people that died in that incident. And for me, I've not stopped to wonder how such explosive materials could be stored in a residential without people even being aware of that. And my fear right now is how many of such residential areas in Nigeria are having this kind of time bombs that are waiting to explode. Because if you look at Bodija, this is one of the elite areas in Ibadan. Who are the people living in these areas? You are talking about professors, you are talking about senior advocates of Nigeria, you are talking about successful businessmen, you are talking about, elite, I don't know how to put it, but the rich. Bodija itself is like a place for the well-to-do. So if it happened there, do we know how many such areas in the country where these people are and these kind of things are being stored that could possibly cause this kind of problem? So for me, government responded swiftly, but then I think what we should be talking about is How come that this is happening in a residential area?
Initially, the governor said that initial investigations revealed the blast because it was caused by activities of illegal miners. But they are still carrying out investigation, forensic investigations to determine the exact cause of what happened. But I just want to ask Dr. Ibili about the what he thinks the role of government should be going forward, especially with what we have in terms of casualties. We have people who have lost properties in this. I mean, the government said it was conducting integrity reports on about 250 properties because of the blast radius, and a lot of houses, cars were lost in that incident. So, what do you think the government should do, sir?
No, I think it's a very tough thing for government to do because the level of the devastation and the level of loss that people have encountered, life you cannot replace, properties you cannot replace all too. Because I mean, there are people there who have lost life savings, not in terms of money alone, but documents. I mean, we are talking of professors, we are talking of judges, we are talking of journalists, writers, and so on who live in that area. So there are some documents that are precious to them that might have been lost. Yes, they will be happy that at least they didn't lose their lives, but how much of that can government replace? And for instance, for those houses, if you have 200 and something houses that integrity tests are going to be conducted on, if those houses are having faults, is government going to give them money to reconstruct it? Is government going to do provide them with alternative houses? The unfortunate thing about it is just that people, we have to be very, very conversant with our neighbors. We have to know who is living where and what such people do. Because I seriously believe that these explosives wouldn't have been packed in that place in one day. It wouldn't have been packed there in 2 days. So the question is, why is Bodija a mining site? Why should explosive be packed in a residential area? So, as Madam has said, because of the kind of people who live there, and we live in a situation where every one of us now, we have high fences screening us off our neighbor. So we don't even know who is your next neighbor. Or even if you know, when your neighbor comes in or goes out, you don't know because everybody has friends. I'm in my house watching my TV. I don't know when my neighbor is opening his gate and going out. So there is that sense of insecurity that has been with us for a very long time has made people to build very high fences to block off their homes from prime neighbors. So what we need to do now is maybe we should try and know one another. I know who is next, at least 2, 3 neighbors around me, and I know what they do, so that we can be able to ascertain. Because the issue now is the owner of that house or where the explosive got exploded. They are now saying is now. I saw it on the social media. I can't attain any credibility to it anyway. That he says he doesn't have a house in that place. So who owns the house, or whether what he says is that he doesn't own a house there, but does he live there? That one was not. That answer was not provided. So we need to know if those explosives get there because if it can be in that, I mean, If you are going to talk about Lagos, you can compare Bodija to either Victoria Island or Banana Island. I mean, it's those elite areas. So, is very scary. If it were to be in Akpete or what is all those far-flung places in Ibadan now, you will say, okay, something like that could happen. But in an elite area, where you think people who are intelligent, you know people who are intelligent, people who know what they are doing, are living. How did that guy, or how did those things get to that place? It's very scary.
I also think this thing is bringing something else to us nearer home. I know that we often notice all these trailers that carry different kinds of things. Sometimes you think they are delivering warehouse products, and they just enter some places and offload whatever they have. You don't have an idea of what they are offloading, and we see them many times. We see them many times in different places. So I think it is high time we started to look into these things. The surveillance area, we need to focus on it, our security, because I also want to believe that even the case in Ibadan might not have happened without the complicit knowledge of security operatives, because I was just thinking that if in such an elitist area, it is possible that whenever they were bringing in these things, they could be accompanied, the vehicles could be accompanied with uniformed security people, personnel paid by the state, by the government, I mean, and which may even prevent nosy neighbors from even asking questions, because they will just assume that it's not possible for a police person, let me just use that as an example, to escort something that is illegal in such an elitist environment. So I think we should do more surveillance, because honestly, the fear for me is the many bodyguards that are around us right now that we don't even know what is going on. And I think it's a work for the security operatives, and also the fact that even this Malian that has killed and maimed, imagine the manager of Bond Hotel died of shock from that bomb blast. That hotel was badly damaged. They had guests in that hotel as of the time it happened and all of that. So you can imagine that man, the manager, died, and 5 others that are officially reported to have died. And this Malian now is still telling us, he told Tribune in an interview 3 years ago that he is responsible to the federal government of Nigeria. So not the state government. So you don't pay a dime to Oyo State. Yes, you have brought your collateral damage to the people of Oyo State, and Oyo State is even now clearing the mess of what you brought upon the state. And this will also take me to the issue of federalism, the kind of federalism we are practicing, and the call for restructuring. I don't know, maybe if there are state police, maybe that could have helped in policing the state more. Who knows? So we need to really revisit our structure. Go back to this restructuring debate, and because it will help our security architecture. I think we need to go back to it. We should not just, we should use Bodija as an example to move forward. That is the way I am looking at it, rather than allowing ourselves to continue to witness unnecessary deaths and destructions around us.
Thank you very much. Well, the latest we've heard concerning it today is still that we are waiting for the forensic report. Thank you for joining us on this episode of AF24 News Talks. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more updates from us. And also follow AF24 News on all social media channels to continue receiving insights on Nigeria and Africa as a whole. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.